Tokyo, a city where tradition and the future collide, where the quiet calm of a temple can sit just around the corner from glowing skyscrapers, arcades, and themed cafes. And in the middle of this cultural clash, something incredible was born. A band that took one of the most unexpected images in Japanese pop culture and fused it with some of the heaviest, tightest, and most exhilarating rock music of the 21st century. This is the story of Band-Maid, 5 women in frilly made outfits who stormed onto the scene in 2013 and flipped the script on what rock could look like, sound like, and feel like. They didn't just blur the lines between image and sound, they shattered them, leaving critics, fans, and even skeptics stunned. Because let's face it, at first glance you'd think maid uniforms and hard rock? It sounds like a gimmick, right? But what Band-Maid created was no gimmick, it was the real deal. And today, their music echoes across the globe, with millions of views on YouTube, sold-out tours across the world, and a reputation for being one of the tightest live bands in rock. Band-Maid isn't just a Japanese success story, they're an international phenomenon. They've performed at legendary festivals, had their music in anime and on Netflix, and they're still charging forward with one goal in mind: world domination. But before the fame, before the thunderous riffs and roaring crowds, this story starts in one of the most unlikely of places, a maid cafe in Akihabara. For those who don't know, maid cafes are a special kind of themed restaurant in Japan, where servers dressed in cute maid outfits greet you with over-the-top politeness, little chants, and playful performances. It's quirky, it's whimsical, and it's about as far from hard rock as you can imagine. Or at least, that's what everyone thought. Enter Miku Kobato, the former maid cafe employee, guitarist, and dreamer. Miku had a wild idea. What if you combine the eye-catching visuals of a maid cafe with the earth-shaking power of rock and roll? Cute on the outside, ferocious on the inside. Sugar and steel. And with that vision in her head, she set out to recruit a band that could pull it off, and oh boy, did she succeed. One by one, the lineup came together. Konami Tono, the virtuoso guitarist with a flair for shredding. Akane Hirose, the thunderous drummer whose precision is the backbone of the band. Nisa, the effortlessly cool bassist whose grooves could shake stadiums. And finally, Saiki Yatsumi, the powerhouse vocalist with a voice that could cut through walls of sound. Together, they weren't just a band, they were a storm in waiting. At first, audiences didn't quite know what to make of them. Dressed like maids but playing like seasoned pros, Band-Maid was as confusing as they were captivating. But that was the magic. People came for the curiosity and stayed for the music. And soon, the world began to notice. See, Band-Maid didn't just want to play music, they wanted to create an experience. Their concerts weren't just shows, they were called services, as if the audience were customers in their global cafe. Fans weren't just fans, they were masters and princesses. And when the band commanded the crowd with special chants, the audience obeyed. It was theatrical, it was immersive, and most importantly, it rocked. From their very first EP, made in Japan in 2014, to their latest albums topping charts around the world, Band-Maid's story has been one of steady, unstoppable growth. What started as a quirky idea in a cafe exploded into a full-scale global conquest. Their riffs traveled farther than they could have imagined, reaching fans in the US, Europe, South America, and beyond. And the craziest part? They're still just getting started. So how did 5 women in maid outfits go from playing small Tokyo clubs to storming international festivals like Lollapalooza? How did they overcome skepticism, rise above the gimmick label, and prove themselves as one of the most respected rock acts in the world? And what does their future hold as they continue marching toward their self-declared goal of world domination? This is the story of Band-Maid. Looking back at Band-Maid's incredible journey, it's almost surreal to see how far they've come from those early maid cafe inspirations to becoming one of Japan's most respected and globally celebrated rock acts. Their list of achievements reads like the resume of a band twice their age. They've released a string of critically acclaimed albums, from their debut mini-album Made in Japan in 2014 to Brand New Made in 2016, which first put them on the international radar, and then Conqueror in 2019, which landed them on both Japanese and Western charts, a rare feat for a Japanese rock band. They've broken into Billboard's world charts, topped Oricon rock rankings, and earned chart placements in countries as far-reaching as the United States, the UK, and across Europe. Their live performances have gone from tiny Tokyo clubs to massive international stages, culminating in historic moments like their 2023 appearance at Lollapalooza in Chicago, where they became the first Japanese rock band since X-Japan to perform at the legendary festival, drawing a crowd of more than 20,000 fans who chanted along to every note. Their reputation as a live powerhouse is cemented not just by the energy they bring, but by the sheer precision and tightness of their playing, often drawing praise from professional musicians and critics who rank them alongside the best rock acts in the world today. On top of that, their music has reached millions through other media, with songs featured in anime like Kengen Ashura and Grendizer Yu, as well as a cameo in Netflix's action film Kate, which introduced them to a whole new global audience. They've earned awards like the Classic Rock Roll of Honor's Japan Next Generation recognition and the Neo Award for Best Musical Act, but perhaps their greatest achievement is the respect they've gained from fans and peers alike. What started as a concept many thought would be a passing novelty has become a shining example of how vision, talent, and determination can overturn expectations. Band-Maid has proven beyond doubt that they're not only here to stay, but here to lead. As for the future, the outlook couldn't be brighter. Their 2024 release Epic Narratives showcased not just their maturity as musicians, but their willingness to push boundaries, incorporating more complexity and cinematic scale into their sound, while still keeping the raw energy fans love. It charted worldwide, proving their momentum is still growing strong more than a decade after their debut. With anime tie-ins expanding their reach to younger audiences and their relentless touring schedule pulling in new fans across continents, Band-Maid is positioning themselves for an even bigger wave of global recognition. Their declaration of world domination might have started as a tongue-in-cheek slogan, but today it feels more like a prophecy. Looking ahead, we can expect more ambitious tours across North America, Europe, and Asia, perhaps even headlining major festivals that have traditionally been dominated by Western rock acts. There's also the tantalizing possibility of more crossover projects, whether it's collaborations with other artists, soundtracks, or even bigger roles in global media. Beyond the milestones and the accolades, the most exciting part of Band-Maid's future lies in the unknown, because if they've taught us anything, it's that they thrive on breaking expectations. Just when people think they've figured them out, they find another way to surprise, to evolve, to level up. And that's what keeps their story so compelling. In the end, Band-Maid's rise isn't just about music or costumes or catchy slogans. It's about proving that bold ideas paired with raw talent can resonate across cultures and borders. They've gone from being doubted as a gimmick to commanding respect as one of the tightest, most exciting rock bands on the planet. They've inspired fans not only with their music, but with the audacity of their vision and the unshakable bond they've built with their audience. Band-Maid's identity also carried a subtle challenge to gender norms in rock music. In Japan, the mainstream music scene has long been dominated by idol groups, where female performers are often expected to prioritize looks, choreography, and polished pop sensibilities over raw musicianship. By dressing in outfits associated with stereotypical femininity while playing music that was undeniably aggressive and technically demanding, Band-Maid turned that expectation inside out. They weren't just breaking the mold, they were reshaping it. In interviews, members have often expressed amusement at how quickly skeptics change their tune once they hear them play. That arc, from doubt to respect, became part of the Band-Maid experience itself. The contrast wasn't just aesthetic, it was revolutionary. Ultimately, the concept and identity of Band-Maid worked because it was authentic to them. They weren't trying to fool anyone or rely on surface-level shock value. Instead, they built a layered identity that combined visual theater, playful fan engagement, and serious musicianship into one cohesive package. Each element supported the others, creating a brand that was equal parts entertaining, meaningful, and musically powerful. By leaning into the Maid theme with a wink and a grin, while never compromising on their artistry, they carved out a place in the music world that no one else could occupy. They didn't just wear costumes, they wore armor, and with that armor, they began their march toward world domination. As they march forward into the next era of their career, one thing is certain: the world hasn't heard the last of Band-Maid. In fact, their best chapters may still be ahead. So, whether you've been with them since the very first service in a tiny Tokyo club, or you've only just discovered them through a viral video or a streaming platform, now is the perfect time to join the ride. Because the maids who rock the world aren't slowing down in their mission of world domination. It's only just getting started.